This is your brain after 1 punch, 100 punches and 1000 punches. I'm Simon Borec and today you will understand why 1 punch can end your career and 1000 punches will end your life as you know it.
It's about a few days, it's Tuesday, it's about a few days after my fight.
Let's start with 1 punch. Most people think it's just a bruise and they are completely wrong. Press on your temple and feel how thin the bone is. On average, it's 4.7 millimeters. That's why temple shots are so deadly. Within milliseconds, your brain undergoes catastrophic cellular disruption. Neurons leak potassium, calcium floods in. Shortly, it's a cellular hurricane. In our anatomy lab last semester, we examined brain tissue from single impact trauma case. The damage was visible even to first-year students. Your brain burns 400% more glucose trying to restore balance. Our professor showed us real brain tissue with hemorrhaging from single impact trauma. The punch damaged blood vessels, so the brain was not getting fuel when it most needed it. This is why fighters look confused, cannot remember what happened and stumble like drunks. Look at Uriah Hall knocking out Adam Cella. One perfect kick and Cella was never the same. That scary arm pose after knockout, it's called decorticate posturing. The punch disconnected your thinking brain from your brainstem. And pay attention here, if that pose lasts over 15 seconds, it means severe brain injury even from one single punch. Watch Ben Askren after the Jorge Masvidal knee. Classic decorticate posturing for at least 5 seconds. In general, certain punches are deadlier than others. Jaw and temple shots create maximum rotational force and the brainstem cannot handle rotation basically. Look at Alistair Overeem, elite 250 heavyweight with solid chin for years. But then came one perfectly placed punch from Ngannou and the game was over. We thought this was his final moment. Here is what shocked me in the anatomy lab. Even mild concussions cause microscopic brain bleeding, axonal shearing and tau protein release. Yes, 1 punch can start the CT process. 1 single punch. And of course, from a single punch there might be broken nose, orbital fractures, etc. But that's just cosmetic. The real injury is invisible. If this is your first time here, I break down the medical side of combat sports from BJJ, judo, all the way to MMA. My last breakdown of UFC brain damage went viral because I showed famous UFC fighters. But today, it will be about your brain. Now we are moving to 100 punches. You might think, wow, how can this get even more dangerous? And let me tell you, the average UFC fight has 30 significant strikes to the head. Sadly, the damage is not linear, but exponential. However, it's not the punches themselves that cause the most damage. It's the aftershock. After about 100 strikes, your brain's defense system goes haywire. Microglia cells activate, and think of them as the brain's janitors. They are supposed to clean up debris, but now they panic. In our pathology lab, we stained brain tissue from head trauma victims. You could literally see the microglia, stained dark, swarming healthy neurons. It's called bystander damage. They are trying to help, but they ended up burning down the whole neighborhood. At the same time, your brain has chronic energy crisis. Blood flow to your frontal lobe drops by 20%. Your brain is screaming for fuel, but the blood vessels are clamped down. This mismatch is why fighters get extreme light and sound sensitivity. Their brain cannot process the input. With this energy crisis, a specific creatine protocol can help. I give my fighters the full breakdown for this in my Healthy Fighter community. But the key takeaway is that you are fighting an energy deficit. Now we will talk about the biggest difference between 1 punch and 100 punches. Second impact syndrome. It happens when you get hit again before your brain recovers from the previous impact. Your brain is already swollen from the first hit and there is no room for additional swelling. So the pressure builds rapidly and can kill you within minutes. Look at Calvin Kattar. He absorbed 445 significant strikes against Max Holloway. He wasn't knocked down, but that's 445 subconcussive events. 445 times the microglia panic and blood flow drop. That's not toughness, that's pure self-sabotage. In such people, we see the white matter damage. For a fighter, this means thoughts are slow, reactions are a millisecond late, and your brain betrays you. That's the difference between living life and surviving it.
Truly, honestly believe if it wasn't for the pills that I'm taking, my life would have been done a long time ago.
It's a classic sign of cumulative damage and not just aging. Same goes with Nate Diaz, another fighter praised for his chin. But looking at the scar tissue around his eyes, each one of those cuts came from a punch that shook his brain. Period. The damage is visible on the outside, but the invisible damage on the inside is far, far worse. I hope at this moment it's obvious. With thousands of punches over years, brain damage becomes catastrophic, irreversible, guaranteed. Look at Nam Pham, UFC veteran who took massive punishment his entire career. Watch him speak before and after CT.
Hey, how's it going? This is me, Nam Fan. Just getting done with my morning run.
Woke up late, but I did run 5 miles.
The difference is heartbreaking. This is what 1000 plus punches do to a human brain. In neuropathology, we examined actual CT brain tissue under the microscope. Boston University studied NFL players' brains. After hundreds of impacts, 99% showed CT pathology. These weren't just old players, some were in their 20s, just like me right now. Here is what most people don't realize. Training damage exceeds fight damage. Fighters spare heart multiple times per year. No medical oversight, no referee to stop it when someone's hurt. I've seen gym footage where fighters take 50 plus heart shots in one sparring session. That's half a fight's worth of damage. For practice, you can call it CT speedrun. And here is what you must know. Weight cutting amplifies everything. When you are dehydrated, your brain shrinks. There is more space for it to bounce around inside your skull. Dehydrated brains are much more vulnerable to impact damage. Every punch hits harder when you are dried out. Age makes everything worse. A 35-year-old brain processes the same impact completely differently than a 22-year-old brain. The older brain has less plasticity, less ability to adapt and recover. The damage sticks. Look, the damage is done whether you utter 1 or 1000 punches. That's a sunk cost you cannot get back. You have two choices now. First, guess and hope you feel better, or implement a system designed to maximize your cognitive function. I provide my fighters with that system. It's not magic, it's just the best possible shot you have at reclaiming your sharpness. The work is hard, but the path is clear.